Good morning, it's a great pleasure I'm here again, and every time I have the privilege of being in Great Ife, I always want to take that privilege and come around. Something big was going on in my office, and I told them, look, it's a give back program and I can't afford to miss it. My CEO, my MD, they were all like, you know, there's something critical that is going on there, and I'm like, sir, this is Great Ife calling me, I can't say no. And I just had to be here. So yesterday, I drove myself all the way down here just to be here. And I'll be talking about some very, very important things. And I want you to draw some inspiration from it. And I want you to see how you can actually be the kind of person you should be. The very first thing is this. None of us could determine where we were born. Nobody. Can you remember that they were like, Papa God, I better go, Nadango, you just stand and go that side. Can you remember you saying that? All that happened was, just open your eyes, you saw your mom's face. And that was all. But guess what? Your future lies in your own hands. I'm a man of faith, I'm a pastor in the church. Even God said, my spirit will no longer strive with man. And so if you don't put your life in God's hands, forget it. Your life is in your own hands. And what I'll be talking about today is about you taking your life into your own hands. A little background to myself. I left this campus about 11 years ago. I applied for JAMB then, and I wanted to do electrical electronics engineering. I scored 220. The cut-off point then was 278. I could remember walking around. Professor Ojo was the Dean of Science then. And because I could not meet the cut-off mark, I was offered statistics. But WAEC did their thing. They did not release my economics results, which was critical for me studying statistics. I was so dejected. So downcasted, I felt like, who did I offend for crying out loud? And then, I can't remember his name now. But there was Mr. Ambali then. He used to be a secretary in the office of the Dean. He still works in the office of the DSA now. He spoke to me, he said, will you do zoology? I said, give me a So, I was like, zoology. Later on, my mind went back to SS1. Zoology is the study of animals. And I was like, they meeting by me. Those Oyinbo guys who run after lion in the forest. Is that what I will do for the rest of my life? And then I met somebody who told me something then. He said, what are you going to do in the... He said, have you gotten admission? I said, yes. He said, what are you studying? I said, zoology. He said, zoo? Mama, I told you Haruna in UI. How many of you know Haruna? Haruna was the baboon in UI there. I thought so. You know, I will go to SUG there. That's Suya Sports. I'll just sit down there. I don't know if the Suya Sports is still there. I'll just sit down there and be watching every kind of car passing by. This is how life is. This is super story. But then, my cousin, who also graduated from this school, he told me something. He said, if you don't get what you like, you end up liking what you get. I want to make the best out of this. At the end of first semester, I was in the third class. But by the time I was graduating, I narrowly missed the first class. Because I had a change of mind about my environment. He said, if you don't get what you like, you end up liking what you get. And I started speaking with people who were out there, they were like, look, forget about it. Your BSc is just the standard by which we measure your IQ. When you get to the master's level, you can do any and everything you want. And people see me in zoology, they tell me, oh, you wanted to do medicine. And I'm like, no. When I tell people I wanted to do elect, they're like, elect, no zoo. What's the correlation? Very, very far. But then, somebody told me something again. It was during a session like this, and I'm really glad you guys are here. Give yourself a round of applause. If it was Davido and Whiskey, that's what I call it. That we're going to come here and perform. By now, what will happen to this place? To capacity. Some people will be sitting on the floor. You think there's one White House lecture going on here. I told some people this yesterday. When they are talking about, how many of you believe you are future leaders? Please put your hand, wave at me. Stop deceiving yourself. No? The leaders of tomorrow are in primary school. It was when you were in primary school they told you you are what? When is the tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Now. If you are not a leader from now, your parents cannot see you at home and believe that the fact that they are not at home does not mean things do not happen at home. You failed. That the HOD is looking for somebody to coordinate something in your department and is asking for the class governor. You can't find the class governor and he cannot trust you with that responsibility. You have failed. So when they say you are leaders of tomorrow, don't think, oh, I'm going to be the governor of tomorrow, I'm going to be the president of tomorrow. They are talking about you being in a position of responsibility from now. So don't deceive yourself. I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm an ideal realist. It is now. And when you go into NYSC, you get there and you're like, I was so serious chasing first class, now I have first class. NYSC, I must catch all the babes here. Hello? Don't fool around. Life has begun in earnest for you. This is the time for you to get all you can get in life. I did my zoology wonderfully. Professor Arawomo, Professor Adebayo, and every one of them, they all taught me. Many of them were doctors then. And I had a very good relationship with them. But I attended a seminar like this, and the guy was like, the question on the mind of everybody is, after now, what next? Do I go for a master's? Do I apply for a job? Do I come back here for a graduate assistant job? And then you are confused. And your parents are already telling you, no, the person comes to see ever grow there, and you are hearing in your room, and you're like, oh God. You open your bank account, 253 naira at 3 kobo. And you are wondering, well, what does life have to offer? Some of us are very religious. I was a campus fellowship executive here. I lived a very triangle. By God's grace, we served God when we were here. So I started fellowships, the first pre-degree fellowship, so many things. I was very busy. But God has given us grace to allow Him rest in certain matters of life. When you were born with all you needed to succeed in life. If you needed money, God will put it in your hands when you were coming. If you needed anything extra, you would have been born with it. He created you complete. All you needed to do was to explore the world and make the best out of it. And the guy told me something in that seminar. I said, look, all you need to succeed is the passion that drives you, the interest you have. What comes to you naturally? What comes to you as a flair? What do you enjoy doing? And I looked at myself, people are busy, you're talkative, now I'm talking, am I not? I go beyond this, it's a corporate social responsibility, but hello, if you're going to invite me to come and talk, you pay a lot of money. And I'm going to talk sense. That's the truth. I don't come cheap. It's true. So, I enjoy talking. I'm a people person. Even in the fellowship in those days, there are some youths that the pastor will call. And the sister will say, please, I'd like to see you. And they look at the pastor, and they just walk away. Or when they come, go, Victor, please, let us talk to this sister. And then, big back, what's wrong with you? Pastor was calling you. And pastor, like, I even call that sister big back. And you are just going there, and back. It just comes natural. Where do they need these people skills in the industry? And that was where it started from. They needed it in HR. They needed it in sales. But I then asked myself, what other things do I want in life? I enjoy sitting with my father. My dad and my mom, they will sit together, they eat from the same plate, and then the rest of us sat around them. That was the ideal family for me. And I asked questions about salespeople. Then she's here, it's lots of sales too before. They're always traveling. I got 5 jobs when I graduated. First Bank, Submarine, I got Globalcom, I got Procter & Gamble, I got, what's the other one? Bristol Helicopters. And Bristol Helicopters was the highest paid, then they were going to send us to Denmark. But I asked myself, do I want to fly the rest of my life? I want to grow my kids on my legs. And I always had that bet with my wife. They would say daddy first or mommy first, and we always, and thank God she said daddy first. I won. That was my passion. I said, I can't go ahead and chase a career that wouldn't allow me to stay at home. For some people, it's fine. I'm just talking about me discovering myself. And because of that, I didn't do sales. I went into HR. But now you guys are here. The journey of your life is beginning. My current job, I never applied for the job. I didn't even know the company existed. I just got an email directly from the chief operating officer. Victor, we heard a little about you, and we have an opening, and we'd like to talk to you about it. That was all. And when I first saw the First Bank, I was like, what the heck? They hold me First Bank. Then I saw FBN Capital. I'm like, okay, it's slightly different from First Bank. CEO, let me just respect myself. Let me just go. We had a meeting, Radisson Blue. We just got there. And, what do you want? And I was for me Pampas too. Oh, I want this, I want that. They said to me, and then we started talking. Before I knew it, they said I should meet the board. I met the board, and before I knew, they were like, so, what are you looking for? Like play? Just like that. But guess what? I was chasing 3 jobs. I was also the HR business partner for IBM West Africa, which was the highest HR role in West Africa. I was also being considered for the group HR director for the age 11 group. And then these guys also came around. And funny enough, I was meeting all 3 companies in the same place. So if I meet this one today, the other one tomorrow, sometimes I look around and I know these other guys are not behind me here. And then just to see. But guess what? I did zoology in school. So guys, it's not a function of, oh, I did medicine. I graduated from Great Ife, the only authoritative university in Nigeria, the only approved university in Nigeria, Oba one university in Nigeria. I only owe you a job if you can create value to my organization. I don't owe you a job on the basis of that. P&G, you're there. When people come in and say, oh, my name is Big Daddy, I graduated with first class, hey, what's that? Look around, you know, for this shit, all first class. And that's the truth. I hired most of them for, I built, as at the time I left, 80% of the organization were people I hired. And I even hired some first-class degree holders. I just don't want to mention names so it doesn't look embarrassing without their permission. Some of them are even directors now. They are bloody first-class degree holders. But guess what? They weren't defined by that certificate, that paper they were given. They were defined by other things. We'll talk about those things as we go on today. The very first thing I'll go into is, how do you search for jobs? Where do you go to look for jobs? This is the question on everybody's mind. Hire me, and are you in this similar situation? So do you want to know how to look around for jobs? Let's move on. This is just a little bit of textbook definition. The long-term process, that is what job search is, of acquiring what? What's it called there? The training, not filing your biodata, that some of you call resume. Not just sending CVs or working to different companies, but acquiring the necessary competencies. One of the key things employers are looking for is communication skill. And when I mention communication skill, to the average man, it's like, oh, my spoken English, am I not correct? My written English, am I not also correct? But it goes a lot beyond that. How about your presentation skills? How many of you can stand before an audience and then you speak? And the greatest place where you can learn some of these things are your various religious centers. In those little cells, they will even call you and say, okay, come and get this splash. You are shy? Oh, the sun shall soon shine. Because by the time you get out there, you are going to stand before managers, the board sometimes, and you're going to make a presentation, and they will tear all of your analysis together. But guess what? You need to be confident. You need to know how to stand before people. Oh, no, people are naturally shy. Hello, guy. The world isn't for shy people. That's the truth. Get out of that element and speak. I used to be extremely shy. Will you believe that today? Oh, go and ask some of my friends growing up in primary school. I was very, very shy. I could not look a lady in the eye. When my eyes meet her. That's the truth. But I had to change. How about your PowerPoint presentation skills? Can you run macros on Microsoft Word? Can you present using an Excel? Can you do charts? Don't leave OAU without acquiring those skills. Don't. It's a lot more expensive out there, and you might not have all the time because there will be a lot of pressure around you. And so even after finishing your final exam, and don't just start singing, before you count over, you must count those other things too. There are various centers around on campus. Yay! It's just going to be 5,000 naira, 3,000 naira, and all of that. It's not worth what you pay, it's well worth risky. Get those things right now. Background and experience. How many of you have been reading Tuesday Guardian here? This is not dangerous, it is dangerful. Do you know why I asked you how many of you have been reading Tuesday Guardian? You read Tuesday Guardian, right? What's in Tuesday Guardian? Job vacancies. And why are you reading those job vacancies? Your CV should have started going out now. And number two, you see all the requirements they are looking out for. The ideal candidates must be X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. And then all of those things are giving you information that you should put on your resume. They are giving you information about things you need to develop expertise in. It's not a function of the fact that you graduated from half class from OAU that automatically guarantees you a job. No. Those things that they've called out in those job vacancies are very, very important. There's a kind of Summit libraries there. They buy papers every day. Some of your HODs too buy papers every day. This is a rapport with those secretaries. Sit down there, spend 10 minutes. Tuesday and Thursday Guardian for those of you who are engineering students, and read. And then Wednesday Punch. You get those information from that place. And you start preparing yourself for the world of work. Now, the job search is all about the strategy for finding employment. Let's move on quickly. So, steps for an ideal job search. What do you look out for? These following points, about 6 or 7 of them. Self-assessment, understanding the job market, and the rest. Let's move to the first one, quickly. Self-assessment, clarify your self-knowledge. Consider personal factors important to you, and clarify what do you want to do. Now, before we move on, can you sell a product you don't know anything about? You can sell a product you don't know anything about. Put up your hands. Okay, thank God there are no magicians here. Do you know that a job application is a product that you are selling? And the product you are selling is what? Yourself. Know thyself, man, know thyself. What do you know about yourself? What drives your passion? What are some of those things that, there are some errands that when they want to send somebody in the house, you volunteer. Because of certain things. There are some things, some of us, when they mention, there's going to be final year thing, that you're like, I volunteer. Because you enjoy what? Either the cooking bit, or the organizing bit, or the talking to organizer bit, or some other things. There are some of us, when it comes to projects, you're like, I'll do the research, I'll do the internet browsing, I know how to do all of those data, I'll do the statistical analysis. All of those things define you. Identify your strengths. Identify the core competencies that you do have. Once you identify those things, the next thing is, where do they need these things? So that you can focus your search in all of those areas where they need those expertise, where they need those competencies. Then the next thing is, what do you want to do with yourself? What do you want to do with your life? I told you why I turned down the Bristol helicopter job. It was something personal. I'm a very good actor, by the way. I got an auditioning job during NYC. It was really big. I didn't know there were some guys from, these our wood around. And they came, they just saw me performing. It was an HIV/AIDS, and everybody rushed me. Hey, you come natural, you come this, you come that. I asked myself a question. I said, do you want to ask the rest of your life? But pardon me, I don't mean to undermine any of them. They are doing what they enjoy to do. But I told myself, I want to live a lifestyle that I think I'll be proud of. Do Take it in Nollywood, you have to do some things, compromise. There are some funny scenes you have to act. Like, I can't bear it to see my son watching me on TV kissing another woman, all in the name of acting. It doesn't just come to me. I can't imagine that. And that was why I had to jettison it. And then, recently, God ministered to me with the parable of the man he gave 5 talents. And then, what did the Bible say about some of them? Pardon me, I'm not preaching, but you can't take it away from me. So sometimes if I say amen, just pardon me. I said, he came back with a 5. So he gave me that talent for something. And so that means I can still use it. How about advertisement? How about, all the adverts you see, there's a whole lot of what? Creativity around it. So I started thinking of something in that line. I need to also use that gift. But that's just by the way. Define yourself. Define what you can do. Define the competencies that you have. What are your interests, the skills you have? Let's move on quickly. Employment preferences. I mean, I work in GE and I have some of the engineers there. These guys work offshore. You know what it means to work offshore? You are in the middle of the Atlantic. There is just one substance standing in the middle of the sea. And you guys are just there. Any small mistake like this, boom. And I asked myself, was that guy knew the kilometers between heaven and earth is far? I can't do it. It's an helicopter that will take you there. You will be inside the cage. And then the thing will be swinging like this, and you will see the tides. Some people pull on their pants just before they land on that thing. I can't do that kind of job. But my younger brother is doing it. God help me, God bless him. But they earn crazy money. I told him in 5 years' time you'll be earning more than I'm earning. Because he's knowing the job and he's doing a very good job. But what kind of job can you do? Night time or what have you? You want to be a salesperson and you don't like traveling? Sorry. Physical demands for the job, family situation. Make all those considerations. Let's move quickly. Then what do you want to do? Your interests. It's not just that you can do something, but are you interested in doing that thing? But please, have an open mind. At this point in time, you haven't seen much of life. You haven't experienced much. I never thought about HR until I got into the industry and I started reading about it. And today I'm loving it. And I enjoy what I do. And it's brought me thus far. So be willing to explore and learn new things. And open your mind. Don't work with a closed mind. But if you know it's not for you, then cut it out. And then move on to doing something else. And in life, how many of you are Barcelona fans here? Now, I'm not a sports fan. The only place where I know that Barcelona wins is on the pages of newspapers. And that's because I want to live long. There are some clubs that, for you to watch their games, you need the nurse here, the doctor here. Then he said, almost a goal. What's that? And I see them in the office the next morning, almost punching themselves. And I'm like, guys, you are stealing my man hours. I'm paying you for that hour. Now, sometimes they make some back passes. Am I not correct? And then they send out the ball. In life, sometimes you may be required to make some back passes to be able to make another long ball. So by the time you graduate, it's not everybody that will get into a P&G immediately. My first job was DTL Systems Limited, and I was earning 5,000 naira. By the way, if I place 5,000, I won't come back and look for it. The person who sees it, his prayer has just been answered. Just go and give tithe to church. I won't. But then it was my 1 month salary, and let 5 naira drop. I will find it. Money till night. You may be required to make some of those back passes in life, but the most important thing is keep your eyes on what? The goalpost. So if you don't have a goalpost ahead of you, you may as well miss it. Now, there are 2 types of job markets, the visible job market and the hidden job market. What is the visible job market? They are the ones you see on the pages of newspapers. How many of you know jobberman.com? I'm surprised, just a few hands. Oh, okay, you are writing, Abi. All right. Write it well, though. How many of you know insidefy.com? How many of you are on LinkedIn? I'm impressed. Yesterday I spoke and I was how many of you are on LinkedIn and it was just like 2 or 3 people. I felt like carrying my bag. How many of you know what they call zinc? How many of you know Afut's job? Now, Zing is just like LinkedIn, but an Asian version. Afut's job is just a sub-Saharan version. Now, inside5.com is trying to combine, your Facebook and your LinkedIn model, so you guys can, know about jobs happening out there, and then you can find friends who work in that company by leaning on your Facebook profile, and so a whole lot of searches can be conducted, almost at the same time. By now, you should have a resume that is already posted on those sites. Now, till today, my current boss, who is the Chief Operating Officer, cannot even remember who gave her my resume. She said somebody